All right, hello, my lovely Aquariuses, however you say it. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing your weekly reading, plural, 2 weeks, for February 12th through the 25th. We are just going to go ahead and get started pulling out your cards here. And then we will start to break down what it is we're seeing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, perfect. So, Aquarius. Overall, first off, I want to say that there is a lot of bright, colorful cards happening here. So there is a lot of positive energy happening, which is awesome. We love to see that. Let's go ahead and just jump right in and get started, and we will kind of start to unravel this as we go through. So, Aquarius, let's start right off the bat. On Monday the 12th, you have the 7 of Pentacles. So, the 7 of Pentacles, as you can see here, this person is watering this tree, and they are, they have these pentacles on this tree. It's meant to represent nurturing and putting into something, putting in the work to grow something. And so, like in the example of growing something, right? When you grow a plant, for example, you plant a seed, you take the time to nurture it, and it takes time. Once you plant a seed, the only thing that you can do is give it the care that it needs, and it will grow in its own time. So, Aquarius, you have been putting in the effort to grow something and to see a return on an investment in a way, because you are investing your time, your energy. Some of you, since this is Pentacles, some of you, you are investing your money and your finances, your resources into building something to see a return from what you are putting in. So, Aquarius, you are putting in the work. You are putting in, excuse me. So, Aquarius, you have been nurturing something. You've been putting in the work. You have been putting in towards something to see a return. You have been nurturing the growth of this thing. And as I said, Pentacles could be money. It could be, a side hustle for yourself. It could be putting into your home life or your love and seeing the growth, the outward expansion of something. Now, with the growth of a plant, right, other than what you are providing this plant, the growth happens outside of your control. I guess you can sometimes, feed a plant a bunch of fertilizer and see it grow a little bit faster, right? But if you put too much in, it's going to get, nitrogen burns or something. Not nitrogen. It's going to get burnt, You can over-fertilize a plant. And you can also overwater and underwater a plant, so there's a lot of nuances that go into seeing this thing grow. And so you have to be kind of meticulous about when you're putting in, when you're taking away, how much you're doing at any given time. But the growth actually happens outside of your control. The growth happens, you give it the things that it needs to grow, but the growth happens outside of you. So, this thing that you've been putting into that's been growing is something that is not, it is within your control to a degree. What you do to build it is within your control. Your next card here for Tuesday is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So there is a possibility that you have been putting in work for growth towards something that maybe is not quite for you. Maybe you have been putting in work and growth in a business that does not recognize you for your value. On the other side of this, with this card being in the reverse, sometimes what this tells me is that you are becoming aware of the opportunity, but that it's not necessarily here for you yet. So the Ace of Pentacles is the beginning of a new experience or opportunity. It's your opportunity to seize this pentacle, to grab up the mantle and start to work. The pentacle is actually, kind of the seed that starts. It's the seed you start with to grow this plant and see this return. So, you could be on the horizon of a new opportunity that could be available to you to start putting in. And I feel like for some of you, you may be feeling hesitant because you feel like you've put in a lot of work and effort towards this one place or this one thing already. And so you might be hesitant to accept this new offer because Maybe you've put in so much work already and now you're worried it wouldn't mean anything, or that it would be for nothing if you take up this new opportunity. And I want to say that, growth, the things that we put into don't happen for nothing. Even if we do choose something new, it's not for nothing, because we still take experience with us when we go. We still take the opportunity for things to happen with the new experience and knowledge of the past. So now that you have planted and grown one tree and gotten this return from it, you can take your knowledge towards anything and start to build from it as well. Let's talk about Wednesday here. You have the Two of Cups, and Wednesday here, Aquarius, I almost said Capricorn because I just did Capricorn's reading. Aquarius, this is the Two of Cups for Thursday, and Thursday is actually Valentine's Day, February 14th, and this card is a very positive card to have for your Valentine's Day. It tells me that you are reveling in your connection with another person. This could be your partner. This could be, maybe someone who isn't your partner, but someone that you're familiar with, that you've been with. And for those of you who are single, who are maybe not even interested in a partnership or a relationship, this could be you finding camaraderie with maybe another single person, and, finding connection in your, not even a romantic connection, but just connection with another person where you're both able to be like, yeah, we don't want to, whatever I hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh. It sounds kind of weird when I say it, but yeah, you could be finding camaraderie or friendship with a person who maybe sees and understands that this part of you don't want a relationship, they're not interested in a relationship, you're both not interested in each other, and so you're like, yeah, let's, have fun being single life. So regardless of whether you are in a relationship or a partnership, regardless of whether you are single and don't want to be with somebody, this is positive connection with other people, positive connection with somebody outside of yourself. So either way, Valentine's Day for you, Aquarius, seems to have a very positive note, positive energy attached to it. Let's talk about your next card here. On Thursday, you have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So, Aquarius, I feel like, we kind of take that break on Valentine's Day for connection, and it kind of gives us a break from thinking about what we're going to do with this Ace of Pentacles opportunity. The Queen of Swords tells me that you are feeling a little bit directionless about where to go or what your next step should be in this scenario. So if you are being presented with maybe the thought or the idea of, starting a business with a friend, or starting a new job somewhere else, or, maybe even for some of you making a move that would allow you to live somewhere closer to where you might make more money. The Queen of Swords is this sense of directionlessness about how to get there. So you see where it is that you want to be, and you're trying to figure out the steps in between to get to that point. And so you kind of find yourself in this cloudy, foggy mindset about it, because while you have the willpower and desire to move in this direction, you're still kind of just like, I don't even know where to begin with this thing. I don't even know where to start, who to contact, how to, what thing do I take care of first? If I'm moving, do I, get the job first and then find the place to live? Do I find the place to live and then trust that the job will figure itself out? So this is kind of that planning or attempting to plan stage, trying to figure out what the heck it is you're going to do. But on a positive note, the very next day here on Friday, you have the Ace of Swords. So this to me literally says like, aha, I got it. I figured it out. And that you are now being presented with the opportunity. Really quick, while looking at your cards here, you have both the Ace and the Two of Pentacles, and you have the Ace and the Two of Swords. So there is progress here, not just within the physical money realm of things. The Swords is our intellect, our thinking, ideas, and so there is progress too in our ideas, in our intellect and logic, thinking minds. So there is progress happening for you here on that front, Aquarius. So just keep that in mind, a little bit of encouragement for figuring things out. As I said, the Ace of Swords is that aha moment about what to do, where to take this first step. You know, maybe this next day you have been really quick. They say that like sleep helps your brain figure things out. So while you may be anxious and trying to figure things out on the previous day, on Thursday here, on Friday, I feel like maybe, you know, in your sleep, you kind of have some time to take a break and it gives your brain space to try to figure this thing out. It could also just be that, you know, an opportunity actually presents itself that tells you what the first thing you need to do is. So if this is work related, maybe your work offers you a transfer and you're like, okay, cool. Now I don't have to figure out where I'm going to make my money. Now I can figure out how I'm going to get there. Maybe I start figuring out, you know, where I'm going to live, right? Something here kind of takes that off your plate a little bit and kind of gives you a direction and actually gives you that first step that you need to move towards this thing. Now, obviously, everybody's situation's different. I'm using the example of like a moving work situation, but as I said, you know, this could be the idea behind, you know, when you're supposed to start filling out your resume. Maybe somebody brings up the option to, you know, move or sell your house or reinvest or whatever the case may be. Now, on Saturday here, we move towards this new card, the Princess of Swords here, in reverse. So, I just want to say we had the Queen of Swords in reverse, then an Ace in the upright, and then another court card, the Princess of Swords in reverse. So, it's kind of this regressive energy a little bit because we move from a queen to a princess. We kind of regress back. So, again, you may find yourself in another case of anxiety, and maybe something comes up where you're having to consider something that you maybe didn't even think about in the first place. You know, how am I going to move all my stuff over there? What do I move first? Do I move my clothes and non-essentials? Do I move my pets? All these other things. All these weird little bits and pieces and details that we're trying to figure out. The Princess of Swords is also a person who is kind of, it's this daydreaming aspect. This card is usually somebody who is like, they're in the process, but they're at the beginning planning stages. It's this daydreaming aspect, and daydreaming has its place within the creative process. Daydreaming is the first step in the creative process. But once we are in the daydreaming, once we are in the planning phase, we can't stay there forever, right? If we are keeping ourselves in this stage of constant planning, I heard a quote actually this morning that really, I feel like fits with this situation. If we stay in the planning stages, what happens is that we are giving ourselves the illusion of productivity without the fear of failure associated with trying. You know, if we're planning, we're in this safe space of feeling like we're working things out and moving towards this direction we want to go. But without actual movement, without actual direction, you know, we don't have the opportunity to succeed. We also don't have the opportunity to fail, to learn from the things that maybe didn't work out. And I don't even like the word failure. I said this for Capricorn too. Failure is this construct that we've built in our society, and failure is not even really a thing. We have to keep trying. We have to keep trying to do things. It's only a failure if you give up. It's only a failure if you don't try in the first place, you know? And staying in the planning stage, in the daydreaming stage, and not allowing yourself to move into action is keeping yourself in this safe zone of avoiding failure. So make sure that, you know, you are not just stuck in this daydreaming planning phase, trying to avoid failure. Now on Sunday, you have the Six of Wands in reverse. And this is exactly what I was saying. This is literally exactly what I was saying about avoiding failure, because the Six of Wands is a victory. It is the ability to see this thing and have it be an exciting celebration about what you have achieved, right? And with the Six of Wands in reverse, you can't achieve a victory if you don't make steps, if you don't take the steps in the first place. If you keep yourself in the safe space of planning and figuring things out, you don't have the experience, you don't have the fear of failure because you haven't actually done anything yet. And so, you know, keeping yourself in that daydreaming space because of a fear of failure is going to keep you from even achieving or seeing a win in the first place. I don't really know how to say this, but like when you were a kid, right, and you wanted to go to a sleepover with your friends, and, you know, maybe you would be afraid to ask your parents or something, or your guardians, to let you go over to your friend's house. And so instead of asking, you would just not ask in the first place. Well, not even asking is a no, right? The worst thing they can do is say no. And if you don't ask, it will always be a no, right? If you don't put yourself out there and take the risk of there being a no in the first place, you'll never have the opportunity to see a yes. So, Aquarius, take the opportunity, take the step, take the leap of faith, and put yourself out there a little bit. And don't be afraid of someone telling you no. Don't be afraid of this quote unquote failure, because, like I said, failure is a construct. It's what you choose to do with it, the wisdom you take with you along the way. That's the important part. All right, let's move on to week 2 now. Let's talk about week 2 because there's some good stuff happening here. On Monday, week 2, you have the 2 of Pentacles. So this tells me, Aquarius, I almost said Capricorn again. Darn it. Oh my goodness. Okay. So the 2 of Pentacles shows a good balance, a good synergy between things that are happening. It's telling me that you, Aquarius, are doing a really good job balancing things. So congratulations. Good job for you guys. You know, doing a really good job balancing things. This is the balance between work and home, home and side gig. You know, maybe your home family and your outside of home family friends, whatever the case may be, the 2 things that you are balancing yourself between, you're doing a really good job. You're finding a balance. You're finding a way to make this work between what is going on at this time. So, Aquarius, good job. This Monday is going to be very synergetic for you for figuring out how to balance and build things and make them work, keep them flowing. And, you know, it may feel a little overwhelming because you have a bunch of plates to spin at the same time, but it is a successful plate spinning, if that makes sense. It's a, you know, you are doing a good job balancing all those plates, so good for you. Tuesday, we move to the Princess of Wands in reverse. So this tells me that, you know, Tuesday, you may be kind of questioning your ability to keep these plates spinning. You may be questioning your confidence, your ability, your capabilities on doing this thing. So it's kind of this sense of doubt, you know, as I said in the example here of trying to, you know, make a move somewhere new. This could be you questioning whether you're capable of it, kind of that imposter syndrome of whether or not you are actually capable of doing this, whether you're going to be able to move everything on time, whether or not, you know, taking this leap of faith for this job is going to end in disaster. Whatever the case may be, you're kind of experiencing some thoughts about it. Oh my gosh, that couldn't be any more vague if I tried. You're experiencing some doubts about how this process is going to play out, about your abilities to interact with this process. So, Aquarius, don't get discouraged. As I said, you are doing a good job. You're doing great. Don't get discouraged, because discouragement, you know, is... Don't get discouraged. Let's move on. 2 of Swords in reverse, Aquarius. So, this says to me that, you know, we talked about the Ace of Swords being this like aha moment about what to do. And the 2 of Swords is kind of this stalemate between decisions. And what this often tells me is that you are trying to intellectualize what is going on. You are trying to intellectualize, look at this decision from an intellectual perspective, trying to pick between 2 choices, trying to determine which one is better than the other. And neither of them, on an intellectual point of view, is proving to be better than the other. You're finding yourself stuck between 2 points, but they both have equal merit. They both have equal pros and cons. And so because of that, you can't make a decision because you're basing it off of an intellectual standpoint. I would encourage you to look at this from more than an intellectual. Look at it for your emotions. Which option is going to bring you the most emotional fulfillment, the emotional stability? Which one is going to give you the best home life balance between your options? Which one is going to bring you the most comfort? You know, look at things from an emotion and what your heart is telling you and take that into account as well as the intellectual standpoint. You have to have a good balance of the two because, you know, if you're making it from only an intellectual standpoint about on paper which one is the best over the other, you could be doing things that are disvaluing your emotions, and you may end up in a place where, yeah, it looks good on paper. This is a good, you know, what the world tells me I'm supposed to be doing, what society tells me, you know, the job, the 401k, the house, the car, the things like that. It may look good on paper, but is it good for your heart? Is it good inside? Is it something that, you know, you're working this dead-end job that makes you feel dead inside when you go home at the end of the day? Or are you working a job that, you know, helps you feel good when you come home? Are you feeling good and capable? And, you know, take the emotional standpoint into account as well as the intellectual. Let's talk about your Thursday card here, Aquarius. You have the 9 of Wands. So this is gearing up. This is the preparation. So the 9 of Wands, Aquarius, this is preparation. It's also like the 11th hour, right? It's that final piece where you're gearing up to come to the end of something. And this can also, you see this person and they're standing behind these swords, or not swords, I'm sorry, these wands. It's kind of meant to represent like the battlements, you know, the things that we stand behind, that we build up to like protect ourselves from other things. And so, you know, Aquarius, you might find yourself gearing up for this battle, this process here. You're girding your loins, whatever that saying is, where you're preparing, you're getting ready to engage in this battle in a sense. And I think that, you know, your next card here after that is the Sun. And so I think what's happening here, Aquarius, is that you're gearing yourself up for something. You're maybe cushioning yourself for failure, cushioning yourself against like you're not getting your hopes up. You're kind of playing it safe a little bit, trying to keep this barrier, this distance between yourself and the thing that you really want in an effort to stay safe from it. And with your next card being the Sun card, I feel like that's completely unnecessary. I feel like you're scared that this thing is going to get taken away from you, and so you're not getting your hopes up about getting there. You're not getting your hopes up about trying to, you know, accomplish this thing. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the Sun card. This is happiness. This is joy. This is reveling in your light, the light of the world, the things going on. And, you know, as we said, happiness, peace, acceptance. You see this person has these, you know, like, hands, you know, the flower crown, the mountains that kind of look like angel wings. You know, it's meant to represent being one with divinity, reveling in the light and the happiness that's available to you. And so either on Friday, you're taking an opportunity for yourself, Aquarius, to revel in your own light, to revel in, you know, the happiness that is surrounding you, and, you know, taking a break from the stress of figuring things out. Or, you know, as I said, you were gearing yourself up for disappointment or failure, and the Sun shows up the next day being like, hey, you didn't have to worry about that. Everything's working out. Everything's going okay. You're doing great. You know, that positive energy keeping you moving. So, you know, as I said, it could go kind of either way on that point there that I'm feeling. Let's talk about your Saturday energy here. You have the 7 of Cups, and then on Sunday you have the 9 of Cups in reverse. So a 7 to a 9. Let's talk about the 7 of Cups. This is having a bunch of choices available to you. You know, each of those cups represents a choice. And it can also represent this like overwhelming desire to make the right choice. and trying to think about all the way these different choices could go, right? Trying to think about the futures and the actions versus reactions of making these choices. I would just like to say, you know, some choices that we make, even though they might seem good initially, can have unintended consequences. And so what I would tell you, Aquarius, is that, you know, there are a lot of choices available. There are lots of different ways that you could go, but certain things are outside of your control. So Aquarius, you need to focus on what is within your control, the things that you can do and think about at this time, the things that are available to you, and get in touch with your intuition. Get in touch with your intuition about what the choice that you make should be. Because with this card, what I find a lot of times is that we know the path that we need to take, but that we get scared of the process. So maybe we're being told to do something really, really scary by our intuition. We're being told to take a big leap that we're afraid of. And so we try to find ways around it. We try to find ways to avoid doing the thing that our heart tells us we need to do. So if you're really, really scared to leave your job, and your heart is telling you, you know, hey, I need to leave this job. This place is no longer good for me. I'm at my wit's end with this place. But you're afraid to leave your job. And so you try skirting around it by, oh, I'm going to just lower my responsibilities. I'm going to do less hours at this job. I'm going to, you know, move to a different department so that I'm not taking on these kind of responsibilities. Maybe a change of, you know, pace would be good. But really the problem is that you are still in this place even though you're trying to skirt around leaving, right? So just take that how it is and try to, you know, actually listen to what your intuition is telling you, because that is going to lead you to where you want to go. Now let's talk about your last card here, Aquarius, the Nine of Cups in reverse. This card is the wish card of the tarot, right? So when we wish for something, our heart's desires, this is wish fulfillment. This is seeing those wishes come to life. And with this card showing up in the reverse, Aquarius, what I am feeling for you is that you have to make this wish and that you're afraid of not seeing it. And so because you're afraid of wishing and not getting it, you're choosing to play the safe path, to take the safe path, and to just not do anything for it in the first place. You want this thing, you want a thing, and you know it in your heart what you want, but you're afraid to even wish for it because you're afraid of the disappointment that might come from not receiving it. So Aquarius, I would just tell you, you know, wishing for something to happen, you know, is only a piece of it, right? A piece of the step. You have to still do work to get to that thing. And it's only a wish if you're not doing something. It's kind of similar to daydreaming in that sense of like, if you're daydreaming about this thing, that's part of the process. Wishing to get to this point is only the first step, recognizing that it's something that you do want, but playing it safe is not going to get you there. You have to take risks. You have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone and reach and pursue this thing that you want. So anyway, Aquarius, thank you for being here today. I hope that this reading was able to help guide you in some way. If it was valuable to you, or if you found, you know, guidance in this reading, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. Maybe leave me a comment about, you know, how this maybe helped you down below. And thank you for being here again today, Aquarius, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.